Hello and good time zone, everybody, and welcome to Horde of Tales and to 6 Moons Saga, a Fabula Ultima actual play here on every Tuesday on our channel. My name is Marcus, pronouns are he, him. I'm also known as the Chindividual, and I have the honor to, for the 5th time already, be accompanied by a table that has already been fighting strange shadowy pumpkin monsters, going into the sewers of a city, and facing off against strange white-clothed figures. Who are these people? Well, let's go around the table and let them introduce themselves, starting in the top left of our little overlay with Angela.
Hello there, lovelies. It's an absolute pleasure to be back here on Horde of Tales when it's been so long since I've been involved with anything here, as in yesterday, at the time of this of this session going live. I was here running a game, and now I get to do one of my other favorite things, which is playing here as Genevieve Vivi Olmos, who uses she/her pronouns and is an arcane inventor. That's me.
All right, taking it over to the other side of me on the overlay to Gabrielle.
Hello everyone, I am Gabriel, my pronouns are they, her, and I am playing Luara, who gets to have a Twilight Saber.
Coincidentally, the title of the next Legend of Zelda game, but who knows? Thank you for being here. Going further around the table, over to Nikki.
Hello there, I am Nick, he, they, and I am playing the duo of Lien, our fox friend, and man, oh god, man, 1 week has fried my brain, but yes, that's the gist of it.
Glad to have you back here at the table, Nick. And last but most certainly not least, we have the Never Squid.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nev, your friendly neighborhood squid person. My pronouns are she, they. Today, I will be playing Sable, pronouns they, them, who is an entropist elementalist, and totally not an eldritch being in disguise. I swear.
Absolutely not. Completely safe there. Glad to have all of you back here for today's session. As mentioned, we're moving into the 5th session of our adventure of Fabula Ultima, which also, just like to point out, won the Dicebreakers People's Choice Award last weekend. So congratulations to the authors of the game, everyone involved in creating the game. Well-deserved prize, and I'm glad to be able to showcase your game here on this channel. And I'm really excited to see what's in store for the future of Fabula Ultima. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Fabula, and it's going to be Ultima. Moving on from terrible jokes to our adventure, where we left off last time, and we did leave off at quite a situation, because our adventurers dealt last time with one of these white-clothed entities fighting in the depths of the sewers beneath Forkbridge. You made sure to prevent whatever kind of sinister plans the white-clothed, long-limbed figure had by manipulating the wellspring, the magical source that keeps the city safe. After dealing with this dangerous foe and his dark minions, you made sure that the wellspring was in a state that it could be fixed, restabilized by people who had more knowledge of it, and retreated from the sewers. Once you were out of the sewers, however, you also witnessed that the Sojourner, a gigantic airship, dare I say spaceship, that seems to fly automated routes between Thea and its moons, is now in the sky above the town of Forkbridge, way earlier than it usually should be. Meanwhile, Luara was also reaching out to one of her allies on the Moon of Bloom, who mentioned that other white-clothed figures had appeared there and were having discussions with the court of the Moon of Bloom. Now knowing that these white-clothed figures are not just on the planet of Thea, but also on the moons, and the mysterious appearance of the sojourner, the party wanders further into town, where more and more people gather out in the open to look at the arrival of the ship. Party members, as the four of you are walking together, what do you do?
Just want to clarify, what is Lian's state after the combat last week?
Lian was mostly also making sure that Thaddeus Grimsby, the members of the Seekers who were with the party, that he would not get hurt by any kind of the backlash of the fighting, while also having the party's back. I would say both Yao and Yuan have a few scratches here and there, and would clearly be visible that they were engaged in a fight, but they're capable of continuing for now, but having a rest wouldn't be unwelcomed by them.
And also I read in the notes that we all saw Sable's shadow like, I don't know why I did that, but like it has a shape.
There was a moment where indeed there was the shape of Sable's shadow did not match with their actual physical shape.
And also that thing that appeared inside the wellspring, the Eldritchy thing, we also saw that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I think in this current moment, Lian's suspicions about Sable is probably back at the forefront. And I'll say that Yuan is like just her usual self, walking ahead, keeping an eye out. But Yao is sort of like side-eyeing Sable, just out of the corner of his eyes. As if like, almost like debating what to do.
I believe we must make preparations. And Laura's like looking at, your indecisiveness. She says, I believe we must now make preparations to board the vessel. It would be a great time to pick up our supplies and patch our wounds, as well as learn something about whatever is going on.
Yes, I think we should, Yuan says.
I think we should go talk to the mayor.
Indeed.
I'm with Sable. I think we should get whatever rewards we were promised, and also see how much she might have known about this whole situation. He's currently clutching like at all the spots where she got hit, and her arm is not in a great state, so she has to go repair it at some point.
Thaddeus, who is also still with the party, says, like, readjusting his monocle, if all of you do not mind, I have to go and report back to my colleagues. I want to, once again, thank you for your assistance. This venture was most interesting. Please, keep safe on your journeys. And, if you need anything of the Seekers, ever, I would say tell them Thaddeus sent you, but I'm not sure my name would help a lot. Good day. And he wanders off with his damaged bag under his arms and disappears into the masses in the streets. So, I heard the party talking about checking in with the mayor on what's going on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You make your way back towards the city hall, where you also went to when you earlier arrived with Yuri and his merchants here. And you're once again greeted by the catfolk receptionist who recognizes all of you, sees in what kind of state you are after your journey into the sewers, and quickly makes sure that you are sent into the office of Cornelia Dane, the mayor of the who is, as you're being ushered into the office, the wide doors open, and around this gigantic desk of hers, Cornelia Dane is actually, there's a lot of other citizens of Forkbridge here as well. You see people dressed in very fancy and expensive looking clothing. There's people who look as if they have directly come from their farm and all of them are talking over each other. And all of them have questions on what's happening. You hear this one woman saying, I didn't even plan for the Sojourner to arrive yet, and I don't have no wares to ship with it. And then there's this farmer who's talking about that he hasn't even harvested anything yet. What kind of consequences will it have? And Mayor Dane is trying to talk to all of them at once, trying to answer questions as well as she can. And sorry to interrupt, we got a stretch. Thank you. Ooh! Ow! Oh, briefly God. Stretching, which is also something that one of these people in this room at least is doing. And the axe-beaked bird that Cornelia Dane has is also stretching his wings at this point. As all of you enter.
What are you doing?
Oh God. UN disapproves.
And Luara just doesn't understand. What is going on?
As the four of you enter, there's a few people looking at you for a moment, and also the mayor looks up and then just raises her voice and goes, all right, everyone, high priority business just entered. All of you out, except the four of you who just entered. And there's some mutterings of, we'll get back to you. What a mayor you are. And
Sable just deadpan stares at every single one of them as they pass, completely unfazed.
And as all of them slowly walk out, the last one closes the doors behind them, and you're now in the room with Cornelia Dane, her bird, and the party.
Greetings. We have news of what happened in the underground of your city and your wellspring.
Does it by any chance have anything to do with the appearance of the Sojourner over my town?
Possibly,
I must confess, we are not aware of the relation.
Well, do we know about the mayor working with...
Sable confronted her about it before, and she refused to say anything. So Sable, once again, if you're okay with that, will speak up. And so...
Do the thing.
Those white-clothed people you pretended not to know about were the ones interfering with it. We removed their interference. Now you should be able to send experts down there to fix it. You should probably do that.
She just lowers into her chair. By dealing with white-clothed person, what exactly do you mean?
Well, I say person, but it appears to have been some form of solid shadow inhabiting a suit.
Interesting. I would have not thought that he would... I mean, I of course do not know what you're exactly talking about.
I find that highly unlikely given how much you're beating around the bush regarding this topic.
Okay. Right. If you're referring to that white-clothed person, I will say so much that he indeed approached me shortly after the troubles with more appearances of monsters and other dangerous things in and around Forkbridge started. He mentioned that he was capable of looking into the technical issues the wellspring was having. And since we currently did not have any other technicians knowledgeable in that in town, and that matter was urgent, I decided to cooperate with him. And at first it did seem to work, but then there were new resurgences of monsters and other dangers for the people of Forkbridge. And he promised
I
he could...
suspect they might be responsible for some of that too.
Wait. They?
Well, one of them summoned the giant pumpkin monster we fought on the way here, so yes.
The one that you told me about, indeed. Look, as someone in my position and in my office, I have to sometimes make do with the people I have at hand. And you now come to me here that you have faced this white-clothed person, and this person meant harm to Forkbridge all this time?
Yes, they do.
No. Go.
Yes, they
What is
do.
their name?
We never learned the name of those clothed individuals. Right? They never
really
said their name.
got
Yeah.
a full name.
We just
Yeah.
know they have siblings, but we don't know how many.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
asking
the
the mayor.
unfortunate part.
I'm actually asking the mayor, like, what is their name? How do they call themselves?
I know that the one that helped, well, quotation marks, helped with the wellspring called himself Solinus.
Solinus. Does it
that
ring a
mean
bell?
Anything? Yeah.
For you as the players, it does, but not for your characters.
Like, is this like a Lord of the Rings situation where every name means something?
Yeah.
Son of Saul, possibly, for going Norse or Armenian in our particular approach to the naming.
We know what these people are going to do based on how they're called.
Yes.
No, I was keeping bad guy MacEvil for later, so that's when we use those kind of names.
I think
no,
Leon.
that-
I think Leon had a
But
question
that
for the
is
mayor
totally trustworthy.
or something.
Yeah. Basically, when sort of like as that conversation happened, you can see Yao sort of like gets a bit more angry. Like, but then Yuan is sort of like passive, and she would sort of lean forward and goes, I can understand why you would do what you did, Mayor, but you must understand that the Wellspring are not some faulty airship that you can just bring in whoever to repair. You would have jeopardized your entire town and who knows what else letting those people in.
Is it my fault that there's just so few people out there who know how to maintain these wellsprings? The last one I had in here said he had to go on some urgent business elsewhere. So I needed something to help my people with. Now, of course, in retrospect, things seem a little bit more clear and straightforward, but at the time, this person was my best option. But then all of you arrived, and it seems as if you helped solving this issue for now?
So what exactly did my father say he was going off to do? And don't try and say you don't know anything about him, because I know that you lied previously. If you actually want us to help you, giving information is a good first step so that we know how best to act. Your position be damned at this point. It's clearly been made out that you've made bad choices in regards of who to trust. If you want to actually trust us, give us information to work off of.
You know, your father was little bit less direct in his line of questioning. But
I don't like people as much as my father does. Least of all people who have actively and like pulls back a piece of the armor to show where there was like the wounds from the bolts and the darts. Especially people who nearly get me killed.
all right, look. Emanuele came here on his travels already a few times in the past years. I mean, you must know that your father travels a lot, and he has a very wide skill set. He's very knowledgeable in many ways, and he was many years ago once here in Fort Bridge, helping with a little bit of maintenance on the Wellspring, and just a few weeks ago he was here as well, and came through town. He asked a little bit about the current state of the Wellspring. I told him about how I hired this Solinus person to look into it, and he stayed a few days, and then he said that there was business elsewhere he had to attend.
And does he seems like he recognized this Solinus?
I mean, he was very interested about this person. Asked question about how long Solinus was already in town, what Solinus said about what he knew about the Wellsprings, where Solinus was from, but there were also a lot of questions that I couldn't answer. I didn't know where Solinus came from. I knew that he was a solution to one of my problems. I mean, one of the problems of my people.
Well, at least it didn't get worse. Now, what else do you know about him? Do you know anything about his siblings and where they might be?
Well, I mean, you told me that you encountered this other white-clothed person, and I don't think there's a coincidence with finding multiple people in peculiar white clothing. There must be probably some kind of organization, but to be fair, I have currently about 40 people out there in my foyer who have questions about why the Sojourner has appeared. So, as I'm very grateful for your help with the Wellspring, I am also about to have to do a lot of, I wouldn't even call it micromanagement, in my town about the appearance of something that usually works like clockwork, but seems to be deviating from that.
I would just say, like, Lian just stares for a second, and then Yao just walks off, and and Yuan follows, and goes outside and wait.
Sable looks at Vivian and Luara, seeing if they're satisfied with the answers.
You're certain you don't know anything else about what could be occurring here or anywhere else?
All right. There is one more thing, but I need to know that I can trust you with further assistance if necessary.
Lian pauses at the door.
I dare you ask whether you can trust us with assistance, for we have been cleaning the mess that you have enabled. Just speak up. Like, Enlar is growing impatient, like, with this.
I have been in touch with a few other leaders of nearby cities that have well springs. Well, nearby, some of them are pretty far away, and correspondence is slow. But I have heard from other mayors or rulers of other places that their wellsprings has also been acting erratically. The magic woven into them being unstable, protective magic not working as well as it should be, and appearances of dangerous creatures closer and closer to usually wellspring protected areas. I'm afraid that what happened here in Fortbridge is not the only place, the only wellspring where things are out of the ordinary.
And
But-
have they also been approached by these white-clothed individuals?
I don't know. As mentioned, the correspondence is slow and not detailed, and at this point I would think so. It would be most likely if already in our area here in the swamps and here in Fortbridge we find 2 of them. Odds are there that they're also elsewhere.
You should probably warn them.
I will. I will reach out, but at the same time also make sure that we can create and maintain peace here in Fortbridge with these recent events. I would ask of you, since you indeed helped me with this situation, if you wouldn't mind to at least stay in the town for a while and wait for any further information I can acquire.
That is reasonable. I believe we would benefit from investigating on our own a little bit, and also having the time to patch our own wounds. As you can see, we are not in our best since we arrived. Unless anyone disagree.
No, I agree with that.
Yuen gives a nod.
I understood from my assistant that you found a place to rest when you came here to town.
Yes.
An establishment that was up to your expectations.
Correct.
Very well. I will make sure that any further costs that you will make there for any kind of rest will be sent to my offices. And I will reach out to you as soon as I have more information. Now, leave me to the inquiries of the many.
I would like to ask quite strongly, if I may, that considering that you knew information that was significant and that all of us nearly lost our lives taking out this task, that there should be some additional compensation, if not in the form of the zenith that was initially offered for the task, then something else of value. I'm not saying that it has to be something extravagant, but I do think it fair, considering what we've just been through, that some additional compensation be given to us, given that that information was not given up front.
She looks at you, and her face completely showing that she understands what you're saying, and that there is quite a part in her that agrees with that. But at the same time, there's another part in her that is already running the books on town expenses and the likes. And however, after...
Morally, I believe in you. Economically, this is against all of my best interests. And logistically, this is a nightmare.
After a moment of thinking, she says, I think the city's coffers can expend some more resources.
If nothing else, if it can't be any sort of item, I would at the very least like to have some of the costs associated with getting my materials back in order compensated for. If not all of it, at least partial portion. Above table, this is me. Can I get some of my inventory points not costing me Zenit to get back? Because it's 100 Zenit for me to get all my stuff back. I'll take even 20, but I'd like 50 at least.
The mayor scratches her head, leans back, and says, "Well, in all fairness, the entire scope of your task has also changed now, hasn't it? The risk has increased as well. I can make a fair argument to my financial advisors for what I'm about to do, as much as they will roast me on this. I'll make sure that each of you will get an additional 250 Zenit paid for this. I think that is the least I could have done, indeed."
How much? Sorry?
250 Zenit.
Each? Oh, wow.
Each.
Okay.
I'll say as we leave, Yuan sort of like just leans close towards Vivi and goes, "You can have my share. I have no need for money."
There's a rare look of Vivi doesn't care that much about money, but she does care about the means to get more materials. So there's a rare look of like the cartoon money signs appearing in her eyes just for a moment.
All right.
Vivi is slowly turning into Gollum, my precious.
More like my precious projects.
Yes.
I'm less Gollum. I'm more the cabbage merchant with all of my projects from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my
Like,
cabbages.
I've only started one of them.
Relatable.
All right. So, Mayor Cornelia Dane makes sure that her assistant pays each of you the 250 Zenit, and she ushers you out of their office, leaving you indeed. The moment you're already leaving, a queue has formed in front of her office of people who have inquiries, who have questions, and you know it's going to be a long day for the mayor. But such is the life of a local politician. And the four of you make your way out of the city hall. And where to next? Are you heading next back to the Three-Headed Lion to rest up? Is there any other business you want to do across town?
What time of day is it?
It's early afternoon. I'd say something like 2 p.m.
Shopping trip?
Get some shoes.
Yeah.
Actually, we might be able to get some shoes with the money we have now. Kind of excited. Oh no, I just realized Vivi's...
Bruno Mars starts to play in the background, like, "I'm a dangerous man with money in my pockets."
I just had a moment of horror realizing, wait, like 2 of our party doesn't care about money. I don't know what, and Luara probably has in her mind, it's like, I have all the money I need. Why do I care about any of this here? So I have to be the financier and the money manager for this. Oh God. Oh no, why did I do this to myself? Why did I pick an inventor who uses money? Shit.
You can't spend 100 Z on a keyring. Why not? It's cute. Look at this.
It's a tourist trap. That's how they get you. It's like, but this fantasy brand, off-brand, not exactly Coke, but Coke substitute is only 150 in it. It's robbery. It's like being at an airport. Damn it.
Yeah, I think if they're all going to shopping, Yuan will just go, "I shall wait for you in our motel." What are they called? Inn? Yes, inn.
Yeah.
Motel is too anachronistic somehow, even though I'm sure that word is old. Yeah, and I'll say after, like at the end of your shopping trip, when Vivi, you return to your room, Lian will be inside your room. and then we'll carry on from there.
That's not frightening at all. There's a giant Princess Mononoke-sized wolf just chilling in my bed. Not scared of that shit at all.
Actually, Leanne, I want to. So you're saying that Yuan and Yao are actually going back to the three-headed lion and
Yes.
just waiting for the rest of the party there, and the rest of the
Yeah.
party is going to go on a shopping spree, if I understand correctly. All right, so we have the party splitting up a little at this point, and as Vivi and Luara and Sable head into the heart of Forkbridge to spend some well-earned zenith, Leon, you make your way back to the three-headed lion, which is a little bit of a walk, and it is also in a very crowded town at this point. A lot of people out in the streets still gawking at the appearance of the Sojourner in the sky, which is now already casting shadows over the town. And there's a lot of buzz and spectacle all around you. How does that make Leon feel to be in such a place?
I think they would feel like, obviously they will sort of like put on a mask over themselves, but they do feel very antsy when surrounded by basically like, place where nature is not as present, it's like trees replaced by concrete buildings, animals and beasts replaced by people in their colorful clothes, shouting and talking with each other, creating this din, and they're not really used to it. They tend to stay away from like civilization, and so they do feel like pressed in, but they sort of like ignore it and just persevere because that is just how society is,
right?
And they have to make do.
Right. There's of course a lot of people who still look at the boy and the fox walking by, and some of their attention is drawn away from the large airship in the sky as you wander the streets and make your way back. But while you do so, could you, either Yuan or Yao, your choice, could one of the two roll an insight plus insight check, please?
Insight plus well, Yuan's gonna make that roll. Oh. Okay, that will be 2d10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, 18.
18, so that's double nines on them?
No, it's a 10 and 8.
A 10 and an 8. Okay, wow. Yeah, that is a lot. And I'm always happy when people roll high on what's basically a perception check, because then I can give them information.
Oh.
So, that was basically Yuan keeping her eyes out for, and keeping her senses about her.
Yes.
All right. So as you're wandering this extremely crowded street, Yuan picks up that in a side alley, branching off of the main road that you're currently walking, you see at first, she sees what looks like just a smaller humanoid figure. And as Yuan looks closer, she sees that in the alley behind her looms a larger figure. There's like this humanoid figure in front, and beyond that, deep in the dark of the alley, it's just these set of glowing eyes towering over the humanoid figure. And it's clear that they're both looking at you.
Am I able to make out the shape of this larger figure?
With an 18, definitely. You see that this larger figure is as if it's some kind of large wolf.
Instantly, both halves of Lian, their eyes just widened, and Yao's head also snapped towards in that direction and look in like almost disbelief and almost like suspicion, that moment of, could it be? And do those figures move, or do they just remain there?
You see that the smaller humanoid figure seems to have also noticed that you noticed both of them. And the smaller humanoid figure looks at you, smiles, and then walks deeper into the alley, with the large wolf following her.
Yep, Lien follows, just pushing through the crowd, not even caring if they bump into people.
Right, just basically crossing this bit, and this is a busy street. You have to get to the other side, pushing aside people. There is indeed somewhere in the distance, there's a faint, my cabbages, as you shove someone to the side, and you come into on the other side of the road into this alley. There's some, above you, there's some washing lines that are stretched from one building to the other building. There's some crates here and everything. And as you move deeper into the alley, the sound of the city behind you muffling, you hear from around a corner at the end of the alley, you hear a voice. And the voice says, "We are both cursed to mingle with these people." You look around the corner, and it's the wolf speaking. A wolf as large as Yuen. Dark fur, but human eyes instead of wolf eyes. Sitting on a crate next to that wolf is a figure that looks like a young girl, but with, instead of human eyes, the eyes of wolves in her face. The wolf continues stepping closer. Are they worth it?
Yao's eyes are fixed on the girl, almost frowning, still with the disbelief mingled in it. Yuen is a lot more composed and doesn't really, reveal her hand in what she's sort of like feeling. And she would just her eyes will flicker between the two of them and goes, "Who are you?"
There is no need to pretend here. And the wolf steps a bit closer, sniffs the air. You have forgotten.
Forgotten what?
Oh. You should not feel bad about it. Falling from a moon does things to you.
Yuen doesn't react, but Yao visibly stiffens. And Yuen is gonna go, "What do you mean?"
We came here to this world they call Thea, when their hubris almost destroyed them. When they created their own moon. You opened your eyes for the first time after the moon fell, did you not?
Yes, we did.
And so did we. Tell me, in the years you've been here, what have you learned about them? These. And the wolf just looks around. People.
You see, Yao's eyes are like falters a bit, and he almost has like a grimace on his face, as Yuan again remains impassive, and she goes, "They do not appreciate what they have. They want more and more and more, and it is never enough."
Isn't that just so? They don't appreciate what they have indeed. They don't appreciate the gift that was given to them. Instead, they try to break it. By what right do they exist?
Why are you here? Why come to me now?
I've been looking for you. We are damned to each other. Both fallen from the hole in the sky these people created. We are watchers and we are judges. Though only one pair of us seems to remember that.
Are we the only ones here?
There are only two pairs of us. One of us to live, to usher in the end of them, and one of us to live, to help them correct their mistakes.
And am I to assume that you will be the one to usher their end?
You are extremely perceptive. And the good thing about ushering in their end is that I will hardly have to do anything. They are making good efforts of achieving that themselves. Though you seem to have dealt with one of the siblings, the children of Thule.
Does that name mean anything to me? I'm guessing no.
Actually, Liam,
In my notes, I have listed that we in character have learned that the Thule Project were the ones who built the sixth moon.
Oh yes, the Thule project. Okay. Wait, so Thule is not just the name of a project.
Respect your note takers.
We kowtow to you, Nev. And as they say that, I think this time both pairs will, both Yao and Yuan would actually visibly react to that. And Yuan, her voice will sort of like take on a bit of more of an edge, and she'll go, "You worked with them?"
The wolf at this point lies down and does this thing that you sometimes see dogs do when they put their front paws over each other. But these paws are massive, and there's just these dark, ebon claws growing out of them. And the wolf says, more like assisting them, guiding them. They are planning to reveal what the well springs were actually created for. These people, they have found their ways of working with them. You have seen what they do with them, tame them, have them amplify magic, keep them safe. But what if I told you the wellsprings are prisons? And you are actually traveling already with one who was once kept in a wellspring.
And instantly Lian's thoughts goes to Sable and recall the thing that they saw inside that wellspring. And I think they're at a point where they sort of like want to distrust this pair, but the combined fact that they look exactly like them and the fact that this last bit of information they give corresponds to what Lian have seen, they're more inclined to trust. And so Yuan will go. And what are these prisoners?
The bane of existence, but also the reason why this world is filled with all its magic, with the power of aura. They were called the Eidolons once. They came to these stars because they were so rich in their magic. And if they would have not been dealt with by the Corpheons, there would be no present.
Does the Corpheon mean anything to us?
You as players have heard it, but your character has not.
Okay. Wait, where have we heard it? Oh my god, my memories.
Oh, it was in the last session where you were not present. It's in the notes.
The very
but
end.
It was
Yeah,
it
right
was
at
in the
end.
villain scene. It was mentioned by
Oh.
one of the villains that is what Sable is, but only the players know that, not the characters.
The characters are thankfully unaware that we have a god with us right now.
Oh, okay, I see it. I know when you say Corpheon, because I was reading the captions as well, and it spells it as Corfeyon, so it didn't register that
Yeah.
that is that word over there.
I should not come up with names that don't get picked up correctly by the captions.
All right, so Yuan will go. If what you say is true, then the magic of this world, it is fueled by living things trapped in it.
The Eidolons are beyond life. That is their whole problem. And this world and its moons exist because the wellsprings keep the Eidolons contained. But imagine what would happen if they were to be released. If the right pieces would be moved into the right places at the right time. Children of Thule have been working to achieve that. Though I will say, you, my other pair, and your companions have changed the timeline. What I'm trying to say, Lian, is that the time is coming closer where we have to choose. In the end, only one of these pairs can remain. And every moment we spend too close to each other is a moment that drives us further into non-existence. And as the wolf says that, one thing that you would have noticed, that both Yoon and Yao would have noticed, is that throughout this conversation, the fur of the wolf has gotten grayer, streaks of gray and white in it. And as Yao looks at Yuan, you can see that Yuan's eyes have gone paler, as if they are aging faster. Like they've become these dimmer eyes of an older person.
Noticing that, I think Yao would sort of like panic and pull out his claws and just turn almost like in anger towards the other pair, as in like a "what are you doing" kind of situation.
As Yao does that, the girl that belongs to the wolf gets up from the crate, and you see her also like growing out of her fingers these long claws, and is also getting ready to just attack Yao. But then the wolf holds her back and says, "Our time here is up." The wolf gets up on all fours, shoulders towering in this alley, and the girl jumps on top of the wolf. "Think about it. Will they continue? Or will they perish?" And then with one giant leap, the wolf just, with the girl on back, jumps out of the alley onto some of the rooftops and out of sight.
Leon watches them go, and Yao will have like one hand sort of like placed on Yuan's side, and after the other pair disappears, he's gonna look at Yuan and see is she getting better?
You can see that slowly the clouded eyes, they return back to their normal state.
All right, and for a brief moment, the pair is just gonna stand there, like Yao one hand on Yuan, and then Yuan is gonna telepathically say to Yao, "We have much to think about," and then they will continue their way back towards the inn, where they will end up in Vivi's room waiting.
Perfect. Well, while Leon was doing that, the rest of the party, completely unaware of this encounter in an alley in Forklift.
Just some world-changing lore. Never mind.
Go to hell, Marcus. Go to hell. That was brilliant, but also, respectfully, fuck you.
I have nothing to say.
I am an alien.
Hey, you wanted JRPG stuff. We have a potential eldritch entity. We have an alien. We have a moon princess. Like, we're covering all the bases here. This is...
I've somehow ended up being the most normal of this group, which is saying something.
For
Yeah,
now.
I actually enjoyed this.
Angela, the campaign isn't over yet. We still have chances to change that.
God damn it. Why did I open my mouth? Every time. Every goddamn time.
The rest of the
Jeez.
party, Sable, Vivi, and Luara, you're out shopping. And what's one of you like to tell me in what kind of shop we find the three of you at this point?
Sable's just following Vivi around, so...
So, if you're amenable to the two of you, I was imagining it's somewhere between like a dressmaker shop and I'm imagining it's like a married couple that's like one of them is a very talented like magical dressmaker and the other one is like much more of like an armor or a blacksmith. Which
all right,
which should give you a sense of where I'm thinking for shopping expenses and such.
Right. So we have a shop run by a married couple who have this combination of a clothing shop for very fancy and beautifully made clothing with slightly magic embroidered into it, but also there's a blacksmith attached to it. So we have this beautiful window shopping front with the mannequins and the beautiful dresses, jackets, coats, and everything. And attached to it is a full forge with a large chimney. You can hear the dinging of hammers against metal and everything. And which half of these shop owners is the party currently engaged with?
So I'm gonna. This is in our private chat, but so I have thoughts on an initial potential list of things to buy, given how much money we have. I'm not saying we buy all of these things. I'm simply saying, of the list of things we have,
the sage robe I'm already wearing.
You're already wearing it. Okay, I wasn't sure
Yeah.
about whether or not your armor was something different than that. Okay, so that's next off the list because you already have that. Because that was one of Vivi's first concerns, because she's looking at her armor like it's more for travel and for handling the wilderness. It's not the most suited for combat per se. So I imagine she initially started with, okay, so there's a couple of different things I think we could potentially pick up given everything that's happened. Sable, we need a new rope. And as she's about to say that, she then looks at your actual ropes like, oh wait, you already have that. Well, you don't have to be fitted for anything, at least. There's I need to pick up supplies to get all of my stores replenished. I will need to look into seeing if whoever's on this side points to the armory happens to have a decent shield that's a little bit more amenable to my interests. And I think I need to get something new. And she holds up the armor again, patches everywhere. And then we could probably look into weapons after this point if we need anything else. So I'd say probably the combat tunic is first.
As you're saying all that, so you're looking for a combat tunic, I would say that you're basically telling what you need to one of the two shop owners, which is one of them who's called Ricardo. Ricardo is a tall, slender man with a beautiful blonde mustache, blonde hair, combed back and everything. And he's listening to what you're looking for. And he's already, as the three of you have entered, you see that Ricardo has already been looking at you for possible measurements for what would fit you and everything. And he's been listening to your inquiries, really patiently listening, and then saying combat tunic, you say? Something that fits the action and intensity of the front line?
Well, if you feel like you have the appropriate size for me, it notes her current one. This is it keeps me a little bit weighed down, and
even if I don't have the appropriate size, I can make the appropriate size.
It would be appreciated.
I do suggest, however, if you're trying to look something that is a bit more sturdier in battle, I'll have my husband add something to that as well.
It's much appreciated. Okay, hear me out. I think she looks towards Enluara. Enluara, this may be the only time in my life that I ask you for this. Can you help me find a pretty but functional outfit? And she hangs her head, almost in shame, asking it.
And Luara is just beaming. Of course. And yeah, but in a way that is she'll definitely actually help you, but she will put you through something of a gauntlet.
Are we getting kind of a montage scene where Vivi ends up fitting 36 outfits?
The first 24 aren't necessary, and Luar just wanted to see how it looked in all of them.
Oh yes, yes,
And
exactly.
to every single one, Sable says, "You look lovely."
Yeah, I do choose a couple that are absolutely ridiculous just for the sake of it, and it's almost perfect, but I do not like that color. Yes, no, never mind.
I want to add. I want a chunk of these to just be like very like examples of the most egregious like fantasy armor made for women, and then just like there's just a screenshot to like the three of us just simultaneously going, "No."
No.
We don't even say anything else. It's just the three of us just like,
No.
for whatever reason, we're all three of us possessed by a spirit of feminism that says no. All of us.
Like as soon as someone comes up, so what about this? No.
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 I would like my organs to be protected.
Especially since you're looking for something that you can use as a combat tunic. That makes
Yes.
a lot of sense.
Yes.
You would think a combat piece of armor, something that would keep me from being skewered.
At some
So-
point in one of those offers, like Enlar is like, I had believed that we were in a serious establishment. I wish to talk to them.
Who is
The
actually
manager's the one who was there the whole time.
exactly. Ricardo is actually throughout all of this entire dressing scene. Ricardo is an absolute champ because he's like helping in, bringing back outfits, coming over with new ones. Actually, sometimes together with Enluara, whenever Enluara says like, different color, Ricardo's all like, I'm on it. And he's already looking for something else that he can also grab. And
Yes.
when Enluara says, I'm looking for the manager, Ricardo is standing there like, right here.
Fine. Listen. Let us. Please do not bring. Please do not bring any more items such as this, if you will. And Enlohara is just like, I have an idea. And then at some point, Enlohara simply just like picks up a few of the pieces that were brought, and she just like separates parts of them. Like one has like a good, good shoulder pads. Another one has like a nice fitting, and then like she basically builds a thing, together with the owner, and always like looking against, Vivi's frame, and occasionally looking at Sable to see if Sable has any reaction that is like slightly different than the usual, but yeah.
And
And then she looks at
I also think this is a great litmus test for Enluara to actually learn the subtleties of Sable's expressions, which only Vivi has been aware of up till now. But because there's so many things happening, I think this is actually a moment where Enluara is starting to figure out the little twitches their face makes for different emotions.
Yes. And Enluara's like, I do not like that eye twitch. That doesn't look good. But eventually, she looks at it, and she looks at Vivi, and she's standing right beside Ricardo, right? That's his name?
Ricardo, yes.
Yeah. She's standing right beside Ricardo and says, there's something missing.
A scarf?
This is almost perfect. She looks at Ricardo. You might be onto something. What have you? That might fit here.
I'll find my best for you. And he runs off back into the shop and brings in like a set of 10 different scarves already in like just slightly different shades of color. Just like these slightly different shades. But I would assume that Enluara really spots the differences between those shades. And
Can I say that Sable immediately goes for the one that exactly matches Vivi's eye color and picks that one?
Oh,
yes.
Cutest thing in the world. Yes.
Vivi's just there. If ever there was someone who could be described as blushing or as red-faced, it would be Vivi throughout this entire sequence. In her mind, she was like, okay, I'll only need to try on like 10 things, right? And we passed 10 things like an hour or two ago.
Yes.
Oh no. Worst thing in the world for her to have to go through. It's like, why? Why did I do this to myself?
With with Sable picking out like the perfectly matching scarf for that, and with all of the coordinating that Anluara has done, Vivi, what would you say does the final outfit end up with? What's like the general vibe and style of that final outfit?
I'm thinking about this because I hadn't thought about armor upgrades until we got into session, but I imagined it's much more of a combination. I've been watching a lot of John Wick clips for whatever reason. I don't know why YouTube keeps recommending them to me, but I keep thinking about the way that like the movie, I think in number 2 or 3, described like that they would put like laminated like plates as the actual means to protect against like gunshot fire in like the suits. No idea of actual practicality of this, but like I imagine like the part of the magical effect is that it's form-fitting, but it's form-fitting, but it's also loose enough for more movement, because the reason I wanted this is it removes the initiative debuff that I have with the previous outfit. It's still the same defense, but I think it's a little bit easier to move around in. I think there's pieces all around it, especially around the joints and very like vital parts, where on the outside it looks like a pretty standard like outfit for traveling, but there are almost like little plates that are pieces of crystal that have been sewn into it that will absorb impact or that remove any sort of drag that happens during movement. And I also think, unintentionally or not, there are it's a color scheme that I would say matches or complements Sable's outfit.
All right.
Yeah.
The outfit is coordinated as such. Ricardo quickly brings over a few more reinforcement elements to quickly work in there. Like, Ricardo just quickly stitches them in, but with so much skill and deftness to the stitching work. And in the end, the entire outfit is complete. And Vivi would have a not just functional, but very beautiful combat tunic available.
Yay! I no longer have -1 to initiative. It's great.
There's also, I think I'm briefly checking in our chat here, there was also mention of a bronze shield you might want to be looking for.
Yes, I think she would have gone over to the blacksmith area.
Yep.
And talked with this fellow. I think she would. Were you serious, Nikki, above table, about passing over Leon's money, the 250 for
yes, I am.
use for stuff? Okay, just double checking. And above table, did you want any other weapons, or at least for me to look for any other weapons if there's better ones? I need to know so we can get this out of the way.
None for me. The weapons I have are more than fine for my character.
Okay. So, in that case, so I will add the 250 to my Zenit, which is great because I just spent a decent amount. Because I also spent 100 with everything that I gained to refill all of my inventory points. So I think the next two things are just getting a bronze shield. And I talked about this before in character stuff that I sent to you, Marcus, but the blueprints that my dad left me, I wanted to talk to the blacksmith about them.
Okay, right.
So
and just to complete this section in the shop, after a while, like when all is said and done, and Luara, looks at Ricardo and says, "You are the master of your craft," and not only, and a little bit like embarrassed, she says, "And I appreciate your patience, if I may say so."
Thank you very much for that. And I will be very honest, there certainly is an edge to you, but it was very exhilarating coordinating this entire endeavor with you. Did you ever
it would not be possible without your masterful eyes.
Now you're gonna make me blush if you continue like that. Have you ever considered going into this business?
Why no? I mean, and then there's like a blue screen for a moment because it's like, and Lara has like, she believes there is like only one path, you know, for her, and then it's like the offer of doing anything else is just like, well, that would be unheard of for a princess.
Would it, though? And Ricardo just smiles at you.
And Lara is blushing a little. Thank you again for your service. It's been excellent.
He curtsies, now that you mentioned that you're an actual princess, and then he gets up again, points over at the other scarves that he brought over, the ones that were not picked for Vivi. If you see any scarf among them that you fancy, feel free to take one with you. And if you meet any other people in this city who are in dire need of new outfits, send them over to Ricardo.
Oh, you know, I could start a list right away.
And he smiles, quickly waves, and
ahead,
leaves you to your business. Sable.
I just had something some stuff I wanted to get. Just regular clothing stuff with Ricardo while Vivi's dealing with the shield stuff.
Right?
Maybe.
Yep.
Sable sort of pulls up the robes just enough that Ricardo could see that they're wearing shoes that are definitely too big for them. Do you have anything that fits better? They're also covered in sewer muck.
Would Ricardo also notice that your entire outfit is a few sizes too large for you?
Probably. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, he looks at it, he's like, if you want me to, I can shorten that for you, and I can certainly find some new boots for you.
And they sort of look back and forth. Okay. Don't touch me, please. Just the throat.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I won't have to. Do you have any preference for shoe work? Are you looking for something sturdy, something athletic, something stylish?
I don't know. We just went to the sewer and we were in the swamp before, so I don't know.
Oh, well, yes, those shoes tell that story indeed. I will be out checking for a few shoes for you, and then I'll also make sure that your outfit is a little bit more fitting for your frame. And Ricardo wanders off to get a few shoes for you that are fitting. They're not too large. Each pair that he gets, there's a variety of styles that he offers you that Sable is free to try. And he's also in the meantime, like, very carefully, like, shortening the end of the robes, the sleeves of the robes and everything, while Sable can also try out and check out some shoes. What kind of shoes would Sable end up picking?
You know the really sturdy sort of high ankle mountain hiking boots? Basically that.
Perfect. And eventually, once Ricardo is done, like, the Sable's robes are still long enough to mostly cover up most of the feet, but they no longer, like, are so long that Sable could trip over them when running. The sleeves are also a little bit shorter, more tucked in, and generally speaking, the outfit has been upgraded a bit.
Okay.
All right. So while all of that was happening, Vivi, you've been showing the blueprints to the blacksmith. And the blacksmith, who is called Pietro, is a slightly older than Ricardo, a little bit less conversational than Ricardo. But the moment you like tell him like what you're looking for a shield and for a pistol and the likes, and then also show him those blueprints, Pietro leans over at them, looks at them, like his entire brow starts frowning deeply, like really deeply as he's looking at those blueprints. And after like a full 5 minutes of just staring at them, flipping through the pages and looking at them, he looks back up at you, still this frown on his face. I don't know what this is. It looks like
I figured.
This is a very intricate machine. Some kind of device?
I was hoping someone might know a way to start breaking some of this down, but...
Well, there is one part that I could guess what it's for. And he like points at one part in the blueprints. This looks pretty similar to a very complicated foundry. But I don't know what the rest around it would be. Like, there's all these other bits and bobs and other elements to it. And then this foundry element, that's just one section of it. Where did you get these designs?
My father left me with these.
Ooh,
I think he wanted me to turn. He is quite the specialist in Magitech. But that isn't entirely what I was hoping to do. This other set, it looks as though he let. I imagine on the blueprints there's a smaller, like, scribbles, the kind of thing where it's like it's the equivalent of a doctor managed to fit 8 statements in one corner because the writing is terrible, but Vivi is used to reading it.
Yes.
I'm not one for firearms, but I am one for arrows. I was hoping if you and I could work on this together, and she offers up essentially the equivalent of what the pistol cost would be. If this works, we could get this to maybe be something it would only take one of my hands to use. And a little bit more focused on arrows.
Oh, that's a challenge. I like it. Give me a little bit to work on this. Let me get some materials. I think I can make something out of this. With a little bit of assistance if you know what you're doing.
I have a baseline. My father trained me for at least fundamentals for different kinds of ranged weaponry and such, and I have a bit of understanding for shields as well, but the making of the shields I definitely leave to you. It's more the outline for the basic designs to make them a little bit more comprehensible, and I think she like finds any scraps, well, not paper because it's a blacksmith and it's a forge, so probably wouldn't want to keep anything flammable, but she like pulls out a bit of material from one of her component pouches, spreads it out across where the writings have been, and it like lifts up off of the blueprint and rearranges in air to be like the basic schematics for what might be a like repeater crossbow, but it's a singular one. It's not a heavy crossbow. It's just like a singular like arm arrow launcher essentially.
And Pietro looks at them, impressed by these drawings, and he then says, well, you're calling this the fundamentals. This is a little bit more than the fundamentals.
I'm nowhere near as skilled in this work as my father is.
If you keep this up, I'm pretty sure you will be soon. But let's come by later today, and we can start working on this together. I have a few other orders to kick out, and I also told Ricardo we will be having a late lunch together. So let's come back later here, and we can start working on this. Don't worry too much about the shield as well. I have a few in storage for that you can just take with you.
Fantastic. But yeah, she just goes with all of that. She goes back to the dresser once Ricardo's finished the order.
Yep.
Or like finished the adjustments, and like she puts on the outfit. She looks over at Sable. How do I look?
Amazing. As always.
Slowly sinks into herself a little bit more, and then says, "Okay, let's head back to the inn."
I would like to point out to the others that Sable has no reference for what beautiful or amazing or anything looks like.
I have a request though. Before we leave the blacksmith, you know, I pull Vivi aside. Actually, let me ask Marcus if that's possible. First, I would like just the only thing that I have my eye on is an ability that would allow me to use my sword as like a sword whip kind of weapon, right? And with the sole added effect that it also may hit flying creatures, and that is all. And I wouldn't like to know if like 700 Zenith can do that.
So you're looking like, and we're talking about your regular weapon that you've been using so far, or you're looking.
Yes.
So you're looking on upgrading.
Just add the traits to it. Yeah. And I would have like a Vivi actually do that. The way I would like to do it is that it's just like it's a feature that it would already have, but it's broken, and I would have Vivi actually have a look at it and fix it if Vivi wants to as well.
Bless you, Nev. And chat Gunblade, let's go. I'm like, yes, I am all for this. I am all for trademark distinct Gunblade. Let's go. Whip a blade. Yes. I think there's an immediate change in Vivi's temperament of like having sunk into herself to being told like, oh, I would like you to work on a thing, and it's like bright sparkles have just covered over her eyes, and she's just like looking at it and look, because was it a staff or was it a sword that you use typically?
Okay, so what I did is that I picked up the staff weapon because, you know, I just fleshed it out as a sword. You know, that's it. It just looks like a sword of effects.
Yeah. Got it. Because I had been looking at our weapons and stuff to see whether or not you wanted to get a greatsword as well. But
yeah, but then I need the arcane thing to use like magic.
Oh, right. Your stuff is tied to an arcane weapon. But yeah, okay. I would be more than happy to work on that. Vivi's just looking at it like, my time has come. praise the moons.
You'll get to get back at Enloaro as well for the
yeah.
As game master, I would say that it's possible to upgrade your staff in that way. I'm spitballing it a little bit here, but I would say if you want to have that staff also being able to hit creatures at range, which is what it would need to hit flying creatures.
Okay.
That would be an upgrade that once Vivi is done with that would cost 200 Zenith to do that. And then you have a weapon that works both in melee and in ranged for that, which is quite a functional upgrade to it, because usually if you want to do this, you would have to keep two different weapons on you and switch between them, and now you get it in one weapon. All right.
That's absolutely great. So for that cost, can I additionally get it to be to target magical defense instead of a regular defense?
I I would
No,
say,
not for that cost, but like pay a little more to also because I have enough money.
but that
to
would
do
also,
one more.
if Vivi has to make it, would make it a longer project to work on this
Yes.
as well.
so-
Vivi
no,
has
never
her own project she has also
Yes,
wants to
yes.
do. I have a very specific one I've talked to Marcus in mind.
I would say if you
All
want,
right, so no,
if
that's
you
enough.
want to have Vivi help with this and get it basically done by tomorrow, because Vivi is quick, knows what she does, and you
Nope,
have the
that's-
resource for it.
Yeah, that's enough.
Then
then.
just the 200 Zenit for the upgrade to the ranged weapon. That would be possible. Any other upgrades would take more time to do.
Yeah. So I pull Vivi aside, and while we are in the blacksmith, and the blacksmith was like analyzing the blueprints and stuff, and she's feeling a little, she's seeing like the blacksmithy reaction, etc. And and Laura doesn't understand a lot about this kind of stuff, but she is smart enough with devices like to look at a thing and say, might as well. And then she pulls Vivi aside and says, I actually have a request of you, if you would not mind it. And then she draws the weapon out, and you realize that the hilt of the sword, so it's a very unique shape. Like, it's just a very strange weapon, like in shape and form. And you realize that there is like, basically it is actually mostly mechanical, and the magic tech that's on it is just like a thing that enables like the charge, the release of one's magical energy onto it to enable it to do the things. And there is another part of it that has been damaged, and she shows it to Vivian. Like, so look at this. And then she literally snaps it into, like, because she knows how to like disassemble it, and she shows like there is a part of this device that is simply broken. I know not how that happened, but since I arrived here, it's not been functioning at all. And I wonder, would you have a look at this? Perhaps you could make it work again. And I will be responsible of fetching anything that you need, of course.
She has entirely stopped listening to you after you've handed her the weapon and is just looking at it with joy. Yeah, it's basically the Charlie Brown adults noise happening behind her.
Oh yeah, it's like a trumpet.
Yeah. And she is just looking at it like, this is... And Laura, you're not fond of Magitech or anything of the sort, correct?
Well, I do what I need. I'll do what I need. And I know that this is old. Look. And then she shows like some of the markings and etc. And it's like, this is a heirloom. And it is, I must be honest, it is something of a miracle. It is working, but I'm quite attached to it. And then she shows like, basically the thing is, yay! Basically the thing, I just read here, Gunblade, let's go. Basically the thing is supposed to work like a whip sword. And it also is supposed to have like a lot of like capacity to store magic and use magic on it, and it's just not tapped into. That's
I think it's one of those moments where she has a look of like a rare look of mischief on her face, where she's like, you mean like this? And she presses against, I think there's like a button that looked like a rune near the pommel of it, and the blade, it does the extension effect. It's definitely not working yet, but she's like,
yes.
I will see what I can do. I think I can get this working by the end of the night. I will get this very fine piece of Magitech working for you?
I will greatly appreciate it.
Your Highness. She does a very unnecessarily deep bow.
And Luara just breathes sharply. There's like a voice in the back of the head, like, you know what? I kind of had this coming. And she is. I am much obliged. Just tell me what I need to help you with this project, and I'll do it.
For the sake of expediency and
Yeah.
carrying things forward.
You
Yes.
Indeed.
And we head back. I think now we could head back.
exactly dressed. Some of you dressed in complete new garments, some with new shoes, and some with looking forward to getting a whip sword soon. The party heads
Yay.
back towards the tavern, and this stream is going to head into a little break. We're going to take a little 10-minute break for now. And yes, Gabriel?
I forgot. I do take a scarf that Ricardo offers, like in order to appreciate and respect his what is the word? His
Kindness.
Craftsmanship.
Craftsmanship.
Work.
yes. No, like for being gracious and giving, you know, like
Generosity.
to honor generosity. Thank you. In order to honor his generosity, and I pick one that is just like very cute in a kind of a pearlescent little fabric, and that's it. That's all.
Perfect. Amazing. All right. With that, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, so about at 10 minutes to the hour. Take this chance to stretch your leg, see if you can find a nice new scarf for yourself, or maybe a good combat tunic who doesn't need a combat tunic in their life. And we'll be back in 10 minutes. Hang in there. See you in a few. Hello and welcome back to the second half of today's Fabula Ultima session of Six Moons Saga. In our first half, we had revelations in dark alleys spoken by speaking wolves, and we had shopping. And from that, we move over as the party, the majority of the party that was out in Ricardo and Pietro's clothing and blacksmithing shop, as they're making their way back to the Three-Headed Lion, the inn where the party has been staying and will be staying as they're awaiting word from Mayor Cornelia Dane on what to do about the wellsprings and the appearance of a giant ship in the sky. The party is slowly approaching the Three-Headed Lion, and I think on the way there, if I understood it correctly in our little chat in the break, Sable wanted to talk with someone, if I understood that correctly?
Yes. To both of them, actually.
To both of them, both Vivi and Enluaro, who are with you. All right.
Yes. They would have said it with Leon there, but Leon is not there. So on the way back to the inn, Vivi and now also Enluara can tell that Sable has been pensive for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way back to the inn, it seems like they finally decided, okay, gonna say it now. Did you see the giant formless blob thing in the wellspring?
How not to see it?
When
Yes.
I attacked the long-armed person, it reflected my magic back at me, and it said something in my head. It said, "Your chance of retribution is past." I have no idea what that means.
I wonder, did you see something else? What can you tell us about such vision?
It was the thing with all the eyes. just said that in my head when it reflected my magic back at me.
So you wonder whether you might be related somehow.
I mean, I don't remember anything before 3 months ago. But how could I possibly have retribution against a thing like that?
And Luara looks away. She looks up at the sky and any of the moons that might be up and at the shadow of the vessel and says, consider, we know not exactly what we're up against, but just consider that our the people in the past would have thought impossible to even reach the skies, let alone cross the threshold between the planet and the moons and build up there. So whatever must be done might not be possible at all. And besides, it isn't like you were alone in your endeavors, is it?
It's true. But I still don't know what it means.
Well, perhaps with the help of a lone survivor, and she looks like at Vivi at the corner of the eye, a strange two-part system of fox and person and a nosy princess, you might get help to figure that out.
I hope so. There was something familiar about it, but I don't know what. It felt very strange.
Vivi, have you considered whether there might be someone else outside of our immediate circle who might be able to shed some light into this matter?
I'm not certain as of yet whether or not there is anyone who could do that. The only magic I'm more familiar with is my mother's, which is much more of a spiritist bend. And I don't think it's anything remotely close to what Sable is capable of.
Marcus, is it reasonable that perhaps someone in one of the moons would be able to, we might be headed there as well anyway, so.
To know more about what Sable saw, or what all of you saw in the wellspring, and how that might relate to Sable?
And perhaps who or what Sable is.
It is very possible that if you want to at least have resources to research this and see what is possible there, your home moon of Bloom would probably have something in the archives that you could try to research. And there's also probably special experts there who could help you in researching that and seeing if you can put things together. But you don't know what that would exactly be. You know that the information is probably there, but it would take time to research it.
And Laura turns once more and says, perhaps it is auspicious that the Sojourner has made it here. If I invited you to come to my planet, to my moon, to my home together with me, would you come? Perhaps in our libraries we can find something that may aid us. And besides, I'm awfully worried about I wrote it down.
Silliness?
Yes. Selena's, I'm awfully worried about what Selena's and their ilk might be up to. I don't think that that the traveler is down here just for a coincidence, and we might call it intuition, but I believe all of these things are interconnected.
What do you think?
I think if we're going to find any more leads, they're probably going to be off-world. I think it's our best chance to find more information. Hesitant though I am to go, looks up at the sky and has a slight look of panic, thinking about it.
Sable looks up, and you can both see the stars reflected in the dark black of their eyes. And for the first time, I think even for Vivi, there's a broad smile that creeps onto their face as they look up. I look forward to it.
Marvelous. And then Luara, with a sort of a sly gaze at Vivi, says, if I may offer you a little advice, as I see you might be uneasy to board onto a interstellar ship. If you feel a little nauseated, all you need to do is just pinch your nose and open your mouth. You will be fine. And I wish to put it on record that this is absolutely bullshit. I just want to make Vivi look silly.
I'd like to put it on record. I'm insightful enough to know when you're giving me bullshit. But I also don't think it's probably a 50-50 chance whether Vivi believes you or not, because Vivi's not good with people, but Vivi's good at reading people. She just doesn't like them as much.
Yes, and yeah, and that's it. Like, just Lars just like being mischievous for no reason.
And with that offer, the party also comes around the corner towards the three-headed lion, where all of you do have your rooms, and where at this point, I'd say, considering that I assume the clothing fitting and shopping took up a bit of time, we're moving at this point at like 4:30 in the afternoon as you enter into the establishment. There's not too many people as of yet. It's late in the afternoon, but all of you could go up to your rooms, and Vivi, as you enter your room, there is someone waiting for you.
Oh, jeez.
You just, when you enter your room, you see Yuan spread out at the center of your room, so in a sitting position, like fox sitting position, not human sitting position on a chair, just over there waiting. And Yao is not paying attention to you. He is actually by your window looking out at the Sojourner above the sky, and his gaze will flicker between the Sojourner and the constant, what was the light in the sky, the remnant of the destroyed moon. Yes.
The red light of the red mist and light of the moonfall. Yeah.
Yes. And he's also looking at that, just alternating. Doesn't look like he's paying attention, but of course, because he and Yuan are of one mind, he will also be paying attention to the convo. And Yuan will go, "We need to talk."
All right. She sets her things down, and you see her pulling out what looks to be like a pair of earrings, and she's also pulling out the silence arrow that she'd made before, and you see she's slowly pulling out the crystal, that the like dark shard was in and she's starting to tinker with it and putting on her gloves. What is it?
I have come to you now instead of the others because I believe you to be the most reasonable and level-headed of our group. But what we are about to tell you is a double-edged sword, because while I believe you, or rather I believe you to be the most logical of us all, what I am about to say you might have a personal stake in, and I do not know how you would react, but I will trust that you will do the right thing.
All right.
What do you know about Sable?
I found them out in the forest. They didn't know really anything about themselves. Had quite a lot of patchy memory when it came to even their clothes, their form, pretty much everything about themselves. It was a bit of a journey working to get them somewhere safer and to learn how to travel, learn how to know somewhat better appropriate clothing, but for the most part, I don't know too much about them.
Where you found them? Where? The location?
It was probably, I think we
near one of the archaeological dig sites.
Yeah, I think that was what we had established.
Was there a wellspring there?
I don't know if we ever decided if there was a wellspring nearby.
I think that's up to our GM at this point.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think I'd say probably Marcus has final say at this point whether or not there was.
As far as you know, there was one nearby.
There was.
And what became of that wellspring?
I'm not aware.
At that, Ewan finally gets up from her sitting position to go back on all fours and will look Vivi in the eyes and go, "You saw what we did down in the sewers, right? The shadows within the wellspring, Sable's shadow."
Yes, I saw the change in it.
And at that, Yao finally looks away from the sky and look at Yuan, and both of them, their eyes connect for a bit, almost like they're having like a slight exchange in their head. And then Yuan turns back towards you, and then Yuan will go, "I believe Sable to be one of those things inside the wellspring." And then I give a short rundown of what
you heard.
I was told. Yes.
Mm. Well, I would not be surprised that there are such things present in the world. I mean, we've for those of us who've studied the union of the two, it's often, most people seem to think that the development of Magitech and any sort of magical and technological synthesis was primarily on the technological side, and that's far from the truth. Most of it actually came from a natural source that was refined and altered significantly. And considering how much had to have been done from the moon for that to have even been possible in the first place, I would not be surprised if its construction involved something as massive and as powerful as one of these beings you speak of.
So I'll just say I paraphrase my relationship with the wolf person. I didn't specify like that aspect of it, just the
But you
aspect
did
that,
mention the wolf person.
yeah, I did mention the wolf person, but not anything beyond that, what they told us about my backstory and things like that.
So what about this is a personal element that you're worried about?
Well, you know what we are. We protect the wild, we protect magic. But if whatever is inside those wellspring can result in the destruction of our world, I may not like humans very much, but they are a necessary part of this world and I would not see them destroyed. What I want to ask you, Vivi, is do you trust Sable not to be a threat to us all?
Yes. Why is this even a question?
You say they don't remember who they are. There is no guarantee that within their mind something else lurks. What if it surfaces?
Do you remember everything about yourself, Leon?
And there is a notable pause at that. All right. But I will say this. If Sable turns out to be a threat, do not stand in my way.
That is not a promise I can make you.
I understand.
Leon, if I acted simply based on my perception of someone or something, I don't think you would have lived very long, to be honest, considering how terrifying you are to most people. But I have been, despite my great hesitation being around anybody, looked past that because I do not see the point in someone's origin or appearance dictating how I should feel about them. Everything Sable has done since I've met them has been either benign or it has been without malice. Right now, the only thing I'm currently seeing you doing is casting judgment and doubt on a friend. Of the two of you, I have less reason to trust you than I do Sable.
You can see Yao bristles at that, but Yuan again doesn't react. And she will go, all right. I will hold your word first and observe. And we shall see in the coming days what happens.
I will make you this promise, though. She's been working on her things, just like having stuff in her hands and like fiddling, but it's the kind of fiddling that isn't actually really doing that much stuff. So she sets it down and she says, give me a chance to reach them if things become bad. Just give me that chance. Please.
And again, there's a slight hesitation, and you can see Yao sort of like has the expression like he sort of like wants to disagree, like he's frowning a bit, but then it just moves out as if a mental exchange happens between Yuan and Yao again. And Yuan will sort of like leans a bit closer towards you, and you see her human eyes looking at you, and it just looks so off on a fox, on an animal, with these really intelligent human eyes. And she will go, one chance. And then she leans back. And then Yao jumps out the window and Yuan follows along.
I think there is a good few minutes where Vivi is just crying very silently, thinking about what she might have to do. And I think she cleans herself up, she gets herself all together, and she grabs some of the pieces that she's working on, and she goes to knock to see if Sable is awake.
Before we get to that, because Leon went back to their room first.
Yeah.
What is Leon's favorite snack?
I will say for Yao it would be just steak, and for Yuan it would be the Iron Beak bird.
No, as in what is something that we would have seen you enjoy eating while we have been companions together?
Oh, okay. I will say for Lian easy enough, just for Yao just steak, just meat of any kind. But for Yuan, somehow she enjoys these type of, even though again Lian they hate civilization, but Yuan loves eating cookies.
There is a knock on your door.
Yeah, so I'm guessing this is after I jump out the window, enter through the front entrance of the
Yes.
and then I go all the way up and go back inside. All right, I hear the knock, and Yuan stiffens a bit, or rather, no, Yao stiffens a bit, and then approaches it. Yuan is just lying in the middle of the room. Yao opens the door, sees you there, standing on the other side, and he goes really still. And then Yuan's voice, yes?
Well, you weren't with us when we were at the market stall, so I got you both something. And there's just a box of delicious chocolate chip cookies and one of those like big chicken, like turkey leg things. That's mostly cold at this point, but and just holds them out awkwardly.
Despite herself, Yuan's ears just turns out towards the door, sniffling a bit. And even Yao is looking down at it. There was like this long, awkward pause of Lian just staring.
Well, everybody else got something, so I thought you should get something too.
The stare continues for a bit, and then Yao slowly reaches his hands out and accepts the plate from you. And Yuan from the back will go, "Thank you. That's very thoughtful of you."
You're welcome. Enjoy. And just sort of awkwardly walks back to their own room.
Yeah, Yao remains standing at the door, just looking at you go. Again, his expression is just impassive. Then finally turns around and closes the door, and he'll stare at you, and both of them will just maintain eye contact for a very long time over there. Again, internal debate. And then Yao grabs one cookie and throws it in the air, and Yuan snaps it. And then he grabs a turkey and starts eating it as he goes over and sits with Yuan and just starts eating. Don't know if cookies are actually good for foxes, but it's fantasy. They eat what they like.
I mean, she's a magical fox with human eyes. I think she can eat whatever she wants.
Are you going to tell her no? It's an important question.
Mhm.
Sorry, I just had this idea and I wanted to run with it.
No, please. I that was so wholesome and oddly fitting considering the conversation Vivi and Leon just had. I was like, look at what they do. Sable shows up 5 minutes later. Hi, I have cookies, and here's a turkey leg.
Yep. More
really
conflict for Lian.
I was like,
So
must be a trick.
So you knock on Sable's door.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Clop, clop, clop. Stumble, clop, clop, clop. Opens the door. Hello.
Hi, may I come in?
Sure.
I wanted to show you something that I have starting work on. I don't know if I'll really make any headway on it, but I thought you might want to see. Um, she hands you a pair of earrings. One looks like it has a little star in it, and the other one has a little moon in it. I'll say it's a crescent-shaped moon. So, okay. Hold these. Now, I promise I will stop before it actually does anything. Just trust me, okay? Do you trust me?
Of course.
Okay. And then she very intentionally takes like a swing towards you in the direction, but as she does, the earrings react and they attune to the kind of natural magic that Sable has. And it's almost like it forms a barrier to absorb some of the blow.
Sable does not flinch at all.
Okay. Prototype works. I have to see if I can get the full one to work. I figured, since you were pretty close to getting hurt back there, I wanted to try and make something that might give you a chance to be protected from things. I don't know how well it'll work, but I thought, since I had the silence arrow and the shadow shard from it, I wanted to see if I could make something that would be protective instead of offensive.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. If you want, I can try them on properly. If you want to see if they fit or not. They're clip-on earrings before you ask.
Sable sort of figures out the clasp on their own and puts them on their ears. Kind of at a wonky angle, but they're on. Like
You
that?
look great. Yeah. You look great.
You?
Are you doing okay with everything that happened today?
Sable pauses for a long moment. I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that right now.
Honestly, I'd take any answer you give.
I'm mostly confused.
What are you confused about?
Myself.
Just because of what we saw, or what it means for you, or what about it?
Both. Everything. That I don't remember anything, and sometimes I do. And that I sometimes just have powers I can use, and I don't know who taught them to me. I don't know.
Are you worried it means something? Or are you worried it means something bad?
Yes.
Are you worried you're gonna hurt us?
I don't want to. But I haven't seen magic like mine at all, except the people we just fought, and they hurt people.
I don't think that means it's the only thing it has to do, though.
Maybe. I don't know. And you notice quite suddenly, like you've seen it, but it hasn't registered. You register quite suddenly that they're usually quite bright blonde hair has definitely gotten a few shades whiter. Or like ashen, more gray.
Your hair's different.
Eh? Oh. Is that a bad thing?
No?
And they sort of pull on it to look at it and go, oh, I hadn't noticed.
Honestly, Sable, you could change however much you want, and I'd still be happy to be around you.
Thank you. I think if you're there, then I'll be good. Then I'll be safe.
Sable, can I ask you something?
Yes?
Would you say those kinds of things to anybody?
I don't know many people. And Luara makes me feel safe. Leon does not.
Do you feel safe with me?
I do.
There's there's a much longer pause than you're used to seeing Vivi have when she talks. Normally she tries to keep things in conversation going when possible. Sable, do you know what it means to like somebody?
I don't know. Is liking somebody the same thing as liking chicken?
It's not dissimilar, to be honest. When it comes to when it comes to other people, sometimes folks have a strong expression, a strong sense of affection and warmth that they feel around another person.
Do you like me?
Yes. More than I think I've liked anyone else in my life.
Sable doesn't reply, but voluntarily takes Vivi's hand. No gloves, just takes her hand. I don't really know what that means, but thank you.
Sable, and her eyes are again that pure white that you saw when she interacted with the machine, and when you've seen her in a few private moments between the two of them. I want to say a few words to you, and I don't know if this will mean anything even if I explain it as best I can to you, but I hope you know that it means that I care about you dearly, and that if you don't feel anything like that in return, I'm gonna be okay, I promise. But Sable, I love you.
Sable stands there, looking deeply into your eyes. I don't know what that means, but I can feel what that means. And you can feel Sable's energy sort of behind your eye. They're sort of connect, like they were telepathically connected before. I don't know if I can give you that back, but I can try. And then lets go of your hand.
It's enough for me. I promise. You're more than enough for me.
Thank you. For a little while, you were everything to me. Slowly, and Luara and Leon are working their way in there too. But you'll always be more than them to me.
There's a smile on her face you haven't seen before. And she gestures at the new clothes that you're wearing. Says, "Is it nice to have clothes that fit?"
Yeah, it really is. I'm not stepping on the hem all the time.
I know it's still a little hard getting used to moving around sometimes.
Yeah, my body's all wrong, but I'll get used to it.
You're not used to it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. Whatever it is, whatever it was, and whatever it'll become.
It feels wrong. But thank you for saying that.
You know, I didn't actually used to look this way before.
Okay, what did you look like before?
When I was a lot younger, when I was growing up as a boy in Kartoa, there was a lot about moving anywhere and everywhere through the world that felt like I wasn't seeing it the right way. I couldn't move in the right way. My body didn't feel right. And I remember waking up one day just hearing the sound of what I imagine everyone hears when they pass. It felt like the voice of life itself saying, "Where do you want to go?" And I felt myself overtaken with light, and I woke up the next day as a young girl, and I was very happy.
Okay. I'm happy you're happy.
It's still weird getting used to a different body. It's been years and everything still feels very weird.
Well, the more that we seem to be doing, the more wrong I start to feel. I don't know what that means either. But I think that's why I'm so clumsy. Because it just doesn't match what it should be. I don't even know what it should be, but it's not. This isn't it.
We'll find out what it is together. Okay? I can promise you that. I'll stick by you till we find out, and beyond that,
Thank you. And Sable also, uncharacteristically, smiles.
We should all sleep. It's been a long day. And she starts heading out of the room. Night, Sable.
Good night. Sleep well.
You too.
While Sable, Vivi, and Leon have been in these conversations, and Luara, is there anything that you would have been doing while the party is back at the inn?
Sorry, I missed the last thing that you said.
Is there anything while the rest of the party members were in these conversations? Is there anything Luara has been doing at the inn?
And Luara has been not at the inn. And Luara has decided to just stroll around the city by herself, and she doesn't even tell anybody about it. She just like, walks away, and she's just looking at what's going on in the city and what people do, and hearing some rumors, hearing what's going on.
Basically trying to listen in what the city is saying at this point.
In part, and also trying to get to know the city a little bit.
Right. You spent some time wandering Forkbridge and looking around, listening, hearing some conversations, and catching a lot of hustle and bustle about the appearance of the Sojourner, the large ship in the sky. But eventually, as you go your rounds and slowly take a turn, you also bump into Yuri, the merchant that the party escorted to town, who is there with his long gray and white beard with colorful beads worked into it, and you literally bump into him, and he goes, "Well, it's the princess."
Why? Just look at you.
Well, look at you, I would say. You look like you've been, I don't know, traveling through a sewer or something.
And Luara shrugs, something like that.
You also look a bit troubled. Let me guess. It's the big ship in the sky.
In part. There is a part of me that worries about that, as most anyone do, but there's another part of me that worries about other matters closer to me. I just wonder what my companions are going through. Everyone seems quieter, and it's odd.
Quieter? Do you worry that something's wrong with your friends?
Why, I don't know. I just feel that and Laura catches herself, thinking about these things, says, never mind, I bore you with such trivialities.
Well, bore me? I don't think so. If you need someone to bounce things off of. We bumped into each other now. Business for today's wrapping up. I was thinking about catching a drink. If you need someone to talk to, old Yuri is available for that.
Well, and Laura thinks for another moment, and she says, it's just that in the past cycle or so, I have seen cycle, how she refers to days. I've seen things that surprised me and scared me all at once. I think that something's coming, something bad, and I fear for my companions.
Have you shared that fear with them? Have you
Why no?
asked them why they are more silent, as you say?
No, I feel that I see they worry about their own troubles, and I don't wish them to think they are burdening me, or I don't want to burden them with my own concerns. You see, they
And-
must have. I've seen. It's just everyone just has so much to think about, and I don't want to pry and give them more to worry about.
And
I
thus,
can be there. I can be there for. I can be there for them, as I have been.
and so you remain alone with your concerns.
Well, so it seems.
Look, we have known each other for a long time. But I know something about people who ponder, who worry, who keep all of that stuff up in their head and don't share it with others. Usually that doesn't go very well. So if you're planning to travel with those companions of yours for longer, and if you trust them, why not see if they're up to helping you share the burden? If you're afraid of something big happening, why don't tell them and ask for their input? Maybe they can help you change perspective. Maybe they can alleviate some of that worry.
And Laura frowns for a moment and she says, "Why, that would shatter my image." And there's like a little like smile that is a little ironic. It's like, but otherwise, I don't know.
The choice is all yours then, Luara. I just think that if they're real friends, your image won't be shattered just by you telling them you worry about something.
And Laura frowns and looks at Yuri for a while, and she kind of tries to peer into him with whatever. She's not a very perceptive person to people. She's always like kind of single-minded, kind of a one-track kind of train. She's. And then, it's hard when people just talk to her like she's a person. And eventually she just says, "Why, I'll think about it. Nevertheless, do you mind if I escort you to your destination?"
Oh, do I mind? Absolutely not. I hope you don't mind that also some of my fellow merchants will also be there. We're just gonna have a nice evening, some drinks, some chat. Just gonna have a little bit of fun. Maybe that will also take your mind off of things.
Why? The beverages that your people make down here make me feel lightheaded, as if I was all the way back into the moon.
Yuri lets out this laugh from his belly, actually like hand on his belly, and it's shaking. He gives you a slap on your back, just like, come on, we have a few. We're gonna have a nice evening, and he just escorts you over to wherever he's heading to have those drinks.
Yeah.
And so, for this evening, all of you, in one way or another, you settle in. Some of you earlier than others, some of you coming back after a night of drinks, others just pondering the events of the day. And you do indeed, which means that you do finish a resting scene. So any kind of lost health points or mind points, all of those are back. And
Yay!
if you want to, you can also update one of your bonds. Either you can create a new bond with an emotion, or change around any emotion if you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna be adding affection to my bond with Vivi. for reasons.
Yes.
I'll be moving mistrust to loyalty towards Liam.
Okay.
Trying to decide loyalty or mistrust to Leon. It's a bit of both.
Yeah, I'm also debating here.
You can just leave it blank.
No, I think it's appropriate. With Sable, it was already a thing. For Vivi, it's been a one-sided thing, and now it's been moved to something not that. I am not dividing it for Sable, but with Leon, it's like, okay, you're ready. In her head, she's already converted to, you're ready to kill my friend if they do something terrible. When you are equally as terrifying as them in my mind, for the exact same reasons you're coming at Sable for. You're like, we can't trust them. They have terrible eldritch powers. You are a giant-ass wolf in the middle of civilization with human eyes.
Such a complicated web of things here.
All right. Oh, wait. I just realized I have inferiority with Sable. I have now moved that to hatred. I am sorry.
I mean, you can have both. They're separate emotion pairs, so you can pick both.
Yeah, no, I think mistrust and hatred makes more sense. I'm sorry.
Wow. And after they brought you food.
They brought you a goddamn turkey leg. You got Renaissance fair food.
Oh wait, you're Oh
Jesus.
The conflict.
I am going to choose. I'm going to choose loyalty to Leon. Because regardless of anything else, Vivi made you a promise.
Makes sense.
Just give her one chance and yeah.
All right. The next morning, we have the party together with all four of you gathered in a common room about this as you're discussing the day, what's lying ahead of you. And I'm curious to hear from everyone. What are the plans, the upcoming plans for the party, with the knowledge that you have now?
I think we're going.
I don't
to
know what you're talking about.
Right?
Sable knows nothing.
Yeah, you joked about this when we were talking privately about this, but I think Vivi would now go for telling you stuff. But with Leon there, just be like, okay, we're going to make this as awkward a family conversation as we can to start our day. Okay.
With all four of us, yes.
Yes,
with five of us. Excuse me, all five of us.
Yes, with all five
Fair
of
enough.
us.
I'm okay with starting there. Yep.
Just straight up going up to, just starting the day. It's like, okay, everyone have their breakfast? Good. So, Leon, you think Sable's some sort of trapped god in humanoid form? Explain, expound. Why don't you like him?
And it gives the GM, I will preemptively give the GM permission to go shenanigans with it. if it triggers stuff in Sable's memory or whatever.
The GM has noted.
Anyone else notice that tick up in Marcus's voice whenever he's told he gets to have more fun?
Very recognizable.
It's usually followed by raised eyebrows and a smile of mischief.
I hope you are okay with that as well, that I'm giving him permission.
I'm so down for this. This is my favorite thing.
Like,
that
this is
you've
the
added
reason
to
I'm
this.
playing an amnesiac character, because I want to see what the GM does with it.
Yes. My last character with Forte was also amnesiac, and it was the most fun I've had in a while.
I had someone who in a previous campaign who was looking for their family, who they were pretty certain, who they didn't remember. They had no idea like who their family was. They were just certain that they'd ended up on like the prime material plane. And then randomly, when they found a giant sanctuary, like somebody runs up to them and is like, "Why do you look like this? Why do you look like my kid?" And then the mom, the wife of the pair, runs up, No, you're supposed to be dead. There's no way. And the player's just like, what is going on? What do you mean? These are my parents? What is this? I was just like, your parents, haha, I did an inverse of what most characters do. Your parents are alive.
So with the party then being together, am I understanding correctly that you're sharing the information that Leon has shared with the party? All right.
Yeah, because I'm like, Leon, you shouldn't have told Vivi this. Vivi is not the kind of person who's just gonna stew on it forever. She's gonna be like, okay, so how do you people, right? People talk about things, right? No, people don't talk about things ever. You told the autistic person who doesn't like people, but also knows to be direct with people, information you wanted it to be private.
I mean, that is true.
Terrible
But
decision.
yeah. Look, it was either you or Enluara, and I feel like the moment I tell Enluara, she's just gonna blab to everyone. So yours is a coin flip that is skewed 70-30 compared to 90-10 with Enluara.
In all seriousness, I think Vivi would just directly be like, Leon, I think there's something Sable should know regarding what you have found out.
There is a brief pause as they sort of consider it for a moment. Like, yeah, Yuan will stare at you first, Vivi, just sort of like eye contact, as if like trying to figure out if this is like an underhanded ploy of some sort. Then eventually sort of like retracts. She trusts you, so she still holds your words in high regards, regardless of what has happened. And after what Sable did with the cookies and the turkey leg, she will turn to Sable and goes, I have learned some things yesterday. And then I will tell. Again, I will tell you everything that I know about what was told about you, Sable, but I make it very vague about my connections with this other individual. Like I mentioned the wolf and the girl, but nothing else beyond that about them.
Okay. Sable just sits there like a rock, not moving the entire time. And I would like to insight check that, please.
Oh.
Enlara's reaction is solely like just like the food is just like sitting there on the plate. She's just like
No.
Okay, Sable, you want to insight on this because what Sable, of course, doesn't know is that Leon left out some stuff about the relationship with the wolf with the wolf girl combo. All right, you can roll me insight, and let's see how much the total of that will be. And let's see where we go from there.
Wait, is that a 6 or a 9?
The classic.
Which way is it?
Is there not a little dot on there to indicate if it's a 6
right.
or a 9?
That is a. What is 7 plus 6? I can't math.
13.
13.
13.
All right. Leon, you are leaving out some information.
Yes.
But
But
can
everything I've mentioned are the truth, so
Yes, you did. Like it's like you're just omitting a bit of information. You're not changing the information. You're just omitting things.
Yes.
Saber got a total of 13 here. Could you roll me for? I think Ewan is doing the talking here.
Yes.
Could Ewan roll me insight plus willpower? That's going to if that is higher than the 13 from Sable, then
All right.
Sable would not be noticing that there's information left out, but if it's lower, Sable might be catching on to that.
Oh, 11.
Sable, you do notice that it's not the complete story.
Okay. I'm assuming there's some kind of reaction. But before we get into that, Sable in Yao and Yuan's head, just theirs, goes, I won't press you on what you're not telling. It does not say that out loud, it's just in their heads. I understand, let's see, how would they say this? I won't press you on what you're not telling. I understand you probably don't trust me. And just continues to sit there like a rock while they're listening to all of this information about themselves.
Alright. And I will say that just with that, as Yuan hears that, or Lian hears that in their heads, Yuan is not gonna project any speech to Sable, but they will very briefly channel a bit of their memory of their conversation with the wolf girl duo, of them mentioning about how this other pair, how one pair is meant to protect and the other pair is meant to end, and make it and project that to Sable, like just for a brief moment, like knowing that this other pair is meant to end and that Lian is meant to protect, and protecting might entail killing Sable, and just project that. To show that, in a way, is their way of showing that there is nothing against you personally, more what your presence could mean for the world.
That doesn't make
Fair
it
enough.
better.
I don't hate you, but I will actively kill you if you
Except
become a
you
threat.
do, because you just added the hatred.
Yeah, actually, you just did.
Well, yes.
That is true.
Look, you gotta be consistent.
Okay, look. Once I figure out a good replacement for the hatred, I will change it to that. But right now, it's the one that makes the most sense to me right now.
Okay, fair enough. So, GM, does anything shenanigans happen?
I'm glad you asked.
Oh.
So there's a bit of a telepathic communication going on here, if I understand correctly. It's telepathic.
Yeah, Sable has intentionally spoken to Leon, but there is technically a connection with the other two as well.
You speak these words telepathically to Leon, and they respond to you via this channel. Also, projecting at you this idea, if I have to, I will kill you. And before you can even respond by yourself telepathically, you hear a different voice coming out of your own head and speaking into the minds of Lian, of both Yuan and Yao, in a warped, echoing voice. And it just says, I would like to see you try. And that's
And
where we're
you
going to
yell
end today's
and
session and pick up from next time.
Okay.
Yeah, these
I'm done.
pancakes are really good, everybody. Like the waffles they serve here, best I've ever seen, best I've ever seen, best I've ever had. They have cornmeal on them. What is this? Is this like fresh jam?
I think I disagree. I find the waffles just a little soggy.
I feel like the texture's still working pretty well. Like we're just trying to have our conversation,
Yeah.
despite what we've been told. Like Vivi's like, yeah, this is about the level of reaction I expected, and then that is happening in the mental realm.
We started the session with most of the party going shopping while one party member had plot reveal after plot reveal. Now we're ending it with most of the party having breakfast, but two of them having telepathical plot reveals. So we're just continuing the trend.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what? We go for consistency here.
Exactly. That's what we're known for
Yes.
over here.
Yes.
So
It's called full circle.
all right. Well, that sure was a session of Six Moon Saga today, as we're slowly going to wrap this up. Before we leave you for another week and continue this and see what this other voice is inside of Sable's head, what exactly it means to maybe be a Corpheon and what these Eidolons are, I want to give this fantastic table to a chance to quickly remind us of who they are, where we can find them, and I'm going to start in the same order again as in our introductions, over at Angela.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I have been happily playing Vivi Olmos here, and I'm reeling with, this is 2 days of emotionally taxing developments with different characters and interactions. So you know what? This is my brand, everybody. This is exactly why you come here with anything that involves me. It's just gay in feelings in different variations. You can check out me being involved in mostly behind the scenes stuff, but helping plan out things for the ongoing holiday one-shots happening over at Girls Run These Worlds. We have a whole month of December in which we're just running a whole bunch of different games by fantastic people in the community. We have everything from Dialect, which is going to be using Winter Elves for some reason. I don't understand it, but it makes sense to at least the players, I think, I think we're even considering doing an Orbital Blues game at some point.
Oh.
So stay tuned for that, everybody.
Fantastic. Moving it over to the other corner of the overlay, Gabrielle.
Hi there, I am Gabrielle, and this has been so emotionally taxing. I am tired. My heart is tired. Oh wow. You can find me everywhere as the Gift of Gabes. I am writing games. I am running games as a GM for hire, and I am also here playing Luara, who is just trying to have regular breakfast for once.
Amazing. Let's see if we can make that happen next session. Meanwhile, Nick.
Hello there, I'm Nick, and yeah, this has been quite the session. It might end with me being killed. We shall see. Depending on how things go. I live for it. And you can find me on basically all social media platform as NixNat1 with the number 1, and not appearing in any other streams or games lately because job. But the bright side is the contract ends at the end of this month, so next year I might sign up for more games, and perhaps we'll see you all there. But yes,
Yes.
that's it for me.
Yes, please. Hopefully we get to see you in lots more stuff, Nikki. And also, love to see more of is the Never Squid.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nev, your friendly neighborhood squid person, and I can now say I am, in fact, playing an eldritch god locked in a human body. My pronouns are she, they. Sable's pronouns were they, them. And I really hope that nothing really bad happens next time, but I guess we'll find out how everyone reacts. I can't wait to find out what that voice in my head is. I can be found everywhere at the Never Squid, and I'm not on any other projects currently, but hopefully soon see me here again next week.
Fantastic. And I have been your game master, facilitator, and creator of scenes that lead to responses from people, to put it neutrally. Marcus, you can find me online as the Chindividual on most platforms, mostly on Twitter and Blue Sky, and I'm part of the organization team here over at Horde of Tales. And as Angela already mentioned, we currently have another game running of Thirsty Sword Lesbians run by Angela, known as the Severed City, and that game will also be back on coming Monday. Our game will be back on next Tuesday as we continue into the next session of that. And you should definitely keep an eye on this channel, because next week Friday, so not this week, but next week Friday, the 15th of December, we have the final EU happy hour of this season, which will be our Candela Obscura one-shot. So if you want to see this pretty new system in action, hang out with us there next week Friday. If you want to keep tabs on whatever happens on Horde of Tales, follow our socials, where you can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram. You can also join our Discord, where you can hang out and chat with us and see extremely cute pet pictures, which always gets me through my day. And also make sure to follow us and check out our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/Horde of Tales, where all of our VODs can be found, and additional YouTube shorts highlighting some of the fun scenes. Recently, the first YouTube short of our game here, of Six Moon Saga, went online as well, referencing the cloth physics in the game. So check all of that out in youtube.com/Horde of Tales. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you to Marcus for producing this episode, since our regular producer isn't here today.
Thank you so much, Marcus, for doing double
Amazing.
duty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You did good.
I enjoy doing it. You're all welcome. Thank all of you for coming back at the
Even
table.
while I tried to destroy it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I've seen worse doing this. So thanks everyone for coming back to this table. Thanks to all of these amazing players. Thanks for everyone for watching. And I hope to see all of you back here next week. Same time, same place. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.